Hello, folks. Welcome to Scratch the Surface. I'm EJ Scott. Today, my guest is Sarah G., improviser extraordinaire, and a friend of mine from way back. Before I get into what we talked about, let me give myself a plug. You can find me on Twitter at EJ Scott and the podcast at EJ Podcast, Instagram EJ Scott 1106, my website ejscott.com. I have a documentary called Running Blind. It is available digitally on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon. And for $2 or $3, you can rent it or buy it. Running Blind is about what I did in 2012. I ran 12 marathons in 12 states in 1 year, blindfolded because I am losing my eyesight to a genetic degenerative eye disease called choroideremia. And my grandfather was blind from it. My mother has it. My mother is a carrier from it, my aunt is also a carrier. My brother has it and is legally blind. My sister is a carrier, and she has 2 boys that also have the disease. And they are about to turn 10 years old and 14 years old. So I'm always trying to raise money and awareness, so please go check out that documentary, and I would greatly appreciate it. You can also go to curechm.org to learn more about choroideremia. Okay, excuse me. I'm just getting over a little sickness, so I apologize for coughing or clearing my throat. Okie doke. So, Sarah G. Last month I was in Chicago for a wedding. And my friend Sarah, who I met here in Los Angeles over 15 years ago, lives in the suburbs outside Chicago. And I gave her a call and said, "Hey, would you mind doing my podcast? And then we'll go get lunch." And she said, "Yeah." So I talked with Sarah in my hotel room in Chicago. And it was great talking with her. It was so cool. She's so hilarious, and I love spending time with her. It's good catching up with her. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about improv. We talk about how she kind of left. She left Los Angeles because she was frustrated as an actor and trying to get work out here, and she went and worked for her parents. For a company that I'll let her explain, and they were working. I guess at that time they were moving to Egypt and working out of Egypt. So she moved to Egypt, and while she was there, she met an Egyptian man that she fell in love with and married. And we talk about all that and how she moved back to the States and was able to convince him to come with her. And now she's a mom. We talk about all that stuff. We talk about Second City and how she went through Second City and performed and did Torco and all that stuff. We talk about she dated improvisers. We talk about dating and so much stuff. We have a ton of laughs. This is one of my favorites and so fun. I love Sarah so much. And I hope you guys will enjoy it. Even if you don't know who Sarah is, I think you'll have a good time listening to the podcast. Okay, so from September 5th, 2018, this is my talk with Sarah G. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, EJ.
How are you?
I'm good.
It's been a couple years since I got to see you.
Yes.
When was, I think
2 or 3?
2 or 3 at least, probably. Yeah. But we've known each other for 15 years.
Holy crap. That's 15. So long.
I know.
I
moved to LA in 2003. Summer of 2003.
Oh my God. And I was already there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Do you remember when you moved to LA from Chicago?
I don't remember what I did yesterday, let alone.
Okay.
But I think, yeah.
That was the next question. What did you do yesterday?
I would seriously have to take some time to think about that. But yeah, it was I think it was 2001. I did Vegas with Second City, and then and then it was went back to Chicago, and I was like, I think I'm out of here, and then went to LA. So
around that probably just before I moved there.
Yeah.
But are you from Illinois originally?
Well, I was born in England.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, that's right.
That's right.
That's right.
I could hear it now.
I'll talk for the rest of the time with this British accent.
What part?
Newcastle.
Wow.
Which is where I said they've got these golden beaches of just dogs.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're telling me about the beaches.
Yeah.
Well, your parents, they're both from there?
Yeah, so we are the immigrants of our strain.
Okay.
Yes.
What did your parents do growing up?
So my dad was a sales guy.
What do you sell?
He sold everything, like door to door, egg beaters, like, egg beaters, and like, I'm doing very ludicrous things with my hands.
Hand gestures.
Bibles, encyclopedias.
Wow.
He's not crazy, but I mean, he curtain rings. Like, he sold anything and everything.
That's the John Candy in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Remember that character?
Yes,
Is
yes.
that like your dad?
That's like my dad. Like, he used to sell these big, like, you know how like we have printers now, which are really tiny and small.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they were like huge, like, bed-size monsters.
Yeah.
He's got so many stories where he's a bullshit artist, because he'd just be like, well, yeah, sure, I know how to do this, and he totally didn't know what to do, and like,
he's a salesman.
Yeah. Yes.
He's got to sell it.
He's got to sell it.
Whatever it
He's
takes.
so good at it. And then my mom was just like a stay-at-home wife, but a writer. So she
was
loved to write.
What'd she write?
Some memoirs.
What?
Memoirs about herself.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's very she likes to dive deep into herself and her own thoughts, and so she wrote this book called The Dark Side, and it's very dark. And her mom died when she was a kid, so she had various wicked stepmothers and crap like that. And but she's a great writer. But you know what's really funny?
What?
She's doing improv classes.
No.
In Oak Park, in the library. So she comes home and she's like, tell me what I could have done better, and I did this move, and what does that mean? And
wow,
it's so she's totally hooked into improv.
Really?
It's 70 years old.
That's kind of amazing.
And she's and so there's in the Oak Park, they do it at the library every Monday.
Yeah.
And it's all kind of like people around her age.
Wow.
And there's like 20 to 30 people there in Oak Park. Like,
who's teaching it?
Some guy who's taking a class somewhere.
He should be teaching it.
Well, I went there, and I mean, so it's like riding a bike. Obviously I haven't done it in a while, but I did it, and I made everybody look great, and it was lots of laughter.
You played along?
I did, yes, and
funny.
and of course when you have someone that knows what they're doing, the whole it elevates everything.
Yeah.
Like, so people can you raise the bar when you come in. So they're all like, "Wow, that was really great," slapping each other on the back, like, "We just rock this," and I'm like, "Great." Like, not really kind of knowing why, but my mom was like, "It's because you were there."
Well, you are one of my favorite improvisers ever.
Oh my God, dude.
You're so good. Do you get to do it often?
No.
Just with your mom at the library?
Just in my mom's library. Well, so what I've done with my own company, so I do improv in my consulting business. Right. So, like, my passion right now is emotional intelligence, and so I've taken improv exercises to help demonstrate, or to really experience how to raise your emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
But through improv. So there's like tons of laughter. So I get to do it, but in a teaching way. Okay. And of course, I'm not teaching comedy or like, where's the game, or
right.
It's more like, just say yes and see what happens.
Is that okay? I mean, do you get to feed that need there?
Yeah. Well, it's so funny, and I wonder if other improvisers feel this. Like, I love affecting people, right? And I feel like the world is so full of like, and especially now, but even back before,
Trump.
You said it. I think I love to make people feel happy, right? And just for that moment, that night, that evening, like, give them something to laugh about.
Yeah.
And I think that has morphed into a deeper connection with people where I really want to, help people shift their lives.
Like almost a life coach.
Yes, that's what I do. Yeah,
Is
it's basically what I do. Yeah.
Oh.
So like emotional intelligence is this like, how do you stop being depressed, stop being moody? How do you have better relationships with your spouse, your coworkers, blah blah blah. Yeah.
Wow.
And so so is it fulfilling? Yes, because I get to use the amazing. I mean, like, oh my God, there's so much to talk about, EJ. Jesus.
Yeah.
So here's what I do, and you'll find this. I hope you find this interesting. So
Okay.
I go with adults, right? And so I'm using these improv tools to help them become better communicators, right? To listen better, to maintain and to regulate their own emotions so they can be happier, right? And then I'm switching gears here because what my next goal is to get improv into the high school and to get improv into schools, because what I'm really realizing about improv is that it truly is a game changer and a culture changer and a life changer.
Sure.
So
we've seen it with many people. It's
yes,
really changed lives.
it changed my life. I mean,
Mine too.
remember, like,
Yeah.
I had just graduated high school. Sorry, graduated college. It's not the same. I didn't pay attention in either places. But I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And kind of like life blows, and I got to work. And then you fall into improv, and you're like, wow. This is fun, and
you're
there's
good
this
at it.
culture, and like people, you bond, and there's teams, and you have to work with people. You have to work with people.
Yeah.
There's no stars.
Yeah.
And like that whole concept is like amazing. That like we need each other. Like I cannot. I mean, of course you can do a one-man improv, but when you're learning it, it's like no, we need each other.
Yeah.
And
doing a one-man improv is hard.
I
It's really hard.
I don't think I ever did it. I think the most was a 2-person.
Yeah.
Did you do an improv? Did you do a solo improv?
I never did a solo, but I've watched really bad solo improv.
Oh.
And I've seen good solo improv, like Paul Valancourt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's fantastic.
Oh, he'd be delicious to watch for multiple reasons.
So when you, are you an only child?
No.
How many siblings?
One older, 10 months, 3 weeks older.
Oh, 10 months. That's an Irish twin or something?
We
like
are.
that? Is that sister?
She had a great life until I came along.
Really? It's a good 10 months. Are you guys close?
We are.
Yeah. What does she do?
So she's like the smart, she's the smart one that like made
She's
really
got
great choices in
Got an
life.
office job or something?
She works from home. She's an instructional designer. I mean, they're both like killing it with money. Lawyer at Boeing. Like they're both like financially delicious.
Her and her husband?
Yeah, her and her hubby. Kids are all both normal and, great. And
Yeah, that's funny. When did you guys move out of England?
so we came here when she was 11 and I was 10.
Okay.
And I was the shyest, most awkwardest person on the planet.
Really?
Oh my
You were a
gosh.
kid. Why? Do you remember why you were so shy? Were your parents like I was shy as a kid, but I could look at it as my family was pretty loud and big, their personalities,
Wow.
so I kind of retreated the other way.
Maybe. Well, of course, so I had my dad. Yeah, so dad was a sales guy.
So he
Mom
was
was
big.
a loud creative. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember my older sister was kind of like the gregarious one back then, the confident gregarious one.
Right. So then you ended up being the shy one.
So I took the role.
Yeah.
But then it all completely switched.
Right. Same here, because then we become performers, because there's something about that bigness that we want to do, I guess, and go on stage with it, maybe.
Well, for me, I mean, like I specifically remember the day that I chose to be obnoxious.
What was that day?
I remember it was 6th grade. I was in the cafeteria. America now.
Okay.
So I moved here with 10, 5th grade, 6th grade.
In Illinois?
In Lake Forest.
Okay.
Very hoity-toity.
Okay.
All white bread, rich folks. And I was a total loser. No one sat with me. Didn't have any friends. except for Keiko Franquist,
Okay.
who, English second language,
Okay.
just. But I just remember being at the cafeteria and like looking at Keiko and like we just stare at each other and not talk, and then looking at like the popular table and looking at how much fun they were having, and like the boys were over by the girl, and I remember being like, well, that looks like fun, and I am gonna get that.
Yeah.
And like that's like literally when I started to be loud and obnoxious.
And then from the table you were sitting at, you're like, hey!
Hey guys, I've made a life change. I'm gonna be obnoxious. You guys are gonna love it.
And back then, I guess you probably had a really thick accent.
Yeah, but that like I got rid of that real fast.
Really?
Yeah.
Just to try to blend in.
Yeah, so I wouldn't get called out of,
When you were around your parents, does it kind of leak back in?
Completely.
Really?
Like a drippy faucet.
That's
Completely.
so funny. That's so funny. Well, where are your parents now?
Here, they're in Oak Park. So my sister's in Oak Park, I'm in Oak Park, and my mom and dad are in. We're all in Oak Park.
You're all in the same.
Yeah, we're pretty tight.
Wow, no kidding.
We're tight, dude.
You see each other a lot?
Yes.
Really?
All the time.
Wow. That's
Well, partly too because the company that I have is, with my mom and dad, so I'm constantly.
That's right. I know. All right. Some
Yeah.
of this is coming back to me now.
We do a 2-day. I just did a 2-day workshop with my dad, so
Oh wow.
yeah.
That's so funny. What? And they moved to Illinois from England because of work stuff.
So I guess my dad always wanted to be an American.
Oh, okay.
The dream.
Huh. Okay.
Entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So we came here in a company, and then he decided to start his own training company, consulting, coaching.
Back, 30?
Yeah, back at like what?
80s?
Yeah, like 81, 82.
Wow. Jeez. And it went well, I guess?
Yeah.
Going well?
Yes. So and then I just took it over back in. So the 2008 was very hard. So like they had like 16 people in the office. They had a big, nice, healthy company. And then 2008 hit, and so the first things that companies cut was the training. So they just lost millions of dollars overnight with their contracts being cut.
Right.
They were embedded in Motorola. I mean, like they helped create Motorola's university.
Right.
They tried, they didn't play it smart. They thought that they would just they hung on to people for too long. They probably should have done the same thing and fired a lot of people, but they didn't. Because they're good people and they thought that they could turn it around.
Yeah.
So they just kind of, everything they had just went.
Eesh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's too bad.
But we're coming out now, so
That's
because
good.
we're rebounding.
That's good.
Got some contracts in Egypt,
Yeah, that's where
which
you
is
lived.
where I went and did that there.
Met your hubby.
Started an improv group out there in Egypt, which was hilarious.
Why was it so funny?
Because all of the scenes were men yelling at women. No joke. No joke. And the funny thing was that they they loved it, and I was just kind of like mortified. I'm just like, oh god, guys, let's branch out, But no.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was very funny. It was just angry men being like, "What are you doing? Where's my food?" It was really funny.
Well, all right. So what'd you study in college? Where'd you go to
Theater.
school? Did you?
I did.
What school?
St. Mary's University. And FYI, like I want to go get my master's and eventually get my PhD in psychology. And like, to get into master's programs, you have to have like 21 hours of psychology. And thank God I took one course, but I'm just realizing how important it is to not major in theater.
You're just realizing that?
Just realizing that now. Because if you do want to change careers, it's like you got nothing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so, my
But some people like that. They like not having the backup because then you just got to go for it.
Yeah, I mean,
You got one choice.
The only thing yes, I do, yes. I get that.
Yeah, because once you get scared, then you go, oh, all right, I'll fall back on my plan B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I'm just one of those where it's like, fuck, I wish I had a plan B.
Well, did you make the choice to kind of stop pursuing acting and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, like, it just, you know, I mean, I was in LA. I was in, like, this Pepto-Bismol colored, you know, studio roach infest, you know, I mean, I just was like, ugh. I looked in the mirror and I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Just I was working it, you know, because obviously you got to pay the bills, and teaching improv didn't do it. You know, I had to
rolling in it.
You're not rolling. Well, you can't even really pay your bills, right?
Yeah.
So I had to have this day job that I didn't like, and
What was your day job?
my day job was in data entry.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, phone calls and stuff. So it was really uninspiring.
That's awful.
And I think my skin was just so thin at that point that I was like, I just can't handle. And you know, it's like when your friends benefit and they get stuff, you're always like, I love that. But then there's that thing at nighttime when you're like, but what about me? Am I ever going to get that? And I think that was what just was like, I'm done. I can't have that. I was depressed. I mean, frankly, I was just depressed. And so that fire and that passion had just like fizzled out. Yeah. And also on top of that, I don't, and it's so interesting, right? Because you see people like, you know, TJ Jagodowski and like they are still honing their craft. Like they are still getting better. But for me at the time, I was like, I don't think I can get any better. Like I'm like done. Yeah. And this is when I knew, when I went to, it felt like going to work. To improvise on stage
really?
Felt like I was going to work.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
And that was a big sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
It's like, the thing about TJ is every year, I don't know if he still does this, he takes a month off of improvising to kind of...
To fuel and...
To refuel and kind of miss it again, you know? So maybe he doesn't get burned out. It's kind of a good strategy, I think.
That is.
You know? And it's funny, I just talked to Mick Napier last night at The Annoyance, and he recently was teaching like a beginner's class or workshop or something, and he said, and guess what? TJ was in it. I was like, he played? I was like, yeah.
To me, I love that. I love those guys. I think that's just, and you know what? That's their journey. Like that's their journey. Like they want to fuel that fire and that passion, and I just didn't. I just was like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah. That's too bad because you were one of my favorites.
Yeah,
I miss seeing you on stage.
Giggles. But here's another thing though. Isn't there 1,000 of me? People like me.
No, there's only one Sarah G.
No, just stop the bullshit. But isn't there? I mean, there's you know what I mean? Like that's what I found too. Is like, you know, we all kind of blend in to like, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think. Is there like? Yes, everyone's unique.
Like you pointed out, TJ Jagodowski. Do you think there's a million of him?
No. Yeah, you're right. So just shut me up. Just shut me up. Because there's no Krekakowski. There's no you.
Thank you.
There isn't. Yeah. There's no Karen Gracci. Yeah. Kay Cannon. Yeah. Dave Hill. Oh my God. There's so many favorites.
Paul Valancourt. I mean,
oh my God. I can't even.
There's so many good ones.
Oh my God. I just love watching them.
There's so many good ones and yet not enough good ones.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know, there's like 100 great improvisers.
No,
maybe
there's so many. You don't think?
I don't think there's more than that. You think there's more?
Oh, I don't. Because you're the one watching it, and I felt like if you like, well, this is an interesting conversation. Like, can anybody become a great improviser?
No.
Really?
I don't think anybody can become a great improviser.
Okay.
I think Craig Kikowski had something when he first took that improv class and really probably shined right away. And did you take to it right away?
So I was with Lutz.
John Lutz.
Yeah, John Lutz.
I interviewed him a few months ago for my podcast. He was great. Great interview. Sir
Lutz is the fucking best. So I was on with Lutz and Chapman and Carlson. Anyway, just a bunch of amazing people. Yeah. Molly Erdman, for God's sakes. Yeah. But when I first started, Liz Allen, you know, let's bow down to the goddess that is Liz Allen. She would grab me before every show. She'd like pin me down and corner me and be like, Sarah, you're not allowed to be funny tonight. You're just going to listen, you're going to observe, and you're just going to support people. And I'd be like, okay, Liz. Fuck. And she did that for like 2 years. Like,
what team was this?
This was Valhalla.
Valhalla.
And like, honestly, you know that scene in with Eugene Levy when he's like, you know, and I sat next to the class clown and I watched him and I learned how to be funny.
From what?
Oh God, what's the freaking movie?
Is that a movie? Eugene Levy? American Pie.
No.
American Pie 2.
No. Oh God, with all the comedians and see, this is why I'm terrible at. See, I was never gifted with like words and trivia.
But you're a daughter of a salesman. You should be good with words, right?
Okay, please, I'm physical and goofy.
That's right. We don't need to know the name.
We don't need to know. I'll probably think of it as I'm fucking driving away today. But that's what I did. So I would watch Lutz. Because Lutz was just like, you know, naturally funny.
Yeah.
And Chapman and Carlson, and I'd just be like. And I just set them up, and I'd set them up, and I'd listen, and I'd set them up, and then I was like, oh, now I know how to do it. And then she saw me be a good listener, support, and then she's like, okay, now you're allowed to be funny. And then that was it.
Wow. But that's interesting. So when did you decide?
I had to play the straight man. Was basically it.
Yeah.
I had to be straight.
That's hard for me too, being the straight man. I like being the goofy.
Yeah, but there's a lot of joy in it too, though.
Yeah,
you know,
for the straight man.
Yeah. I mean, they're really, you know, they're really, and then of course, you know, once she said, okay, you can do whatever, then it is hard to go back to, you know, setting people up. But there is some joy in it.
Yeah.
But the joy comes when you're doing the fit together.
Yeah. See, there's joy in it.
There's joy in it. Oh, stop. I'm like, after this, I'm going to be like, I'm going to go to mix.
I'm going to that library.
I'm going to that library.
So when did you decide to take an improv class? Was it during college? Or have you seen improv by that time?
Well, so I went to Second City, and I saw Adsit, Scott Adsit.
Oh, wow.
And Faye and Dratch.
Wow,
and I was just, you know, and I think it was the frickin' Vicar scene. With the music. Oh, good God.
I never saw that, so I don't know.
And Dorf.
Oh.
And Jim. And anyway, and I was just like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So that was it. And then I got involved.
Yeah.
I did Second City and I.O.
Mm-hmm.
Had to audition, I think it was 6 times to get into the touring company.
Wow. 6 times, that's a lot. I auditioned once.
And you made it?
No.
Oh.
Damn. I moved to L.A. I moved back to L.A. But I was like, let me try this. I think was it for Torco or maybe the Ships or something? I don't remember. Whatever it was.
But Mick Napier nailed it, right? So like in this audition, and like, can you imagine? So like, people like, you know, fly in from like Colorado Boulder just to like audition. So, and he would you know, I remember him telling me one time, just, you know, don't, you know, to be a good improviser, don't try and get on the, just be a great just improvise well.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand what he was saying, because the stress and the pressure, and you want to be a star, right? Like, you want to be the best one out, you want to be the funniest. And
yeah.
But it wasn't until my 6th time where I was like, you know what? If they don't hire me this year, I'm done, because I know I'm good.
Yeah.
So, and I looked at the people that I was going into audition with, and I saw how scared they were, and how like desperate they were, and I was like, I'm not like that anymore. And you know what? I'm just gonna make them look good. Like, I'm gonna do what a good improviser does, is like, I'm gonna try and calm them down up there, make them think, make them say, you know, wise choices, and I think that was when they saw, oh, okay, she's improvising well. She's being supportive.
Those are hard auditions too, because you got like 15 minutes with like 8 or 10 people straight out of classes, or so maybe some are still in classes, and just nervous energies going all over the place. It's tough. It's tough.
But that was why I think I made it, because I was like, I don't need, you know, I didn't need it.
Yeah.
I didn't need it to tell me that I was good enough.
It was your energy was good by that time.
Probably 6 years.
So you you did Torco?
5 years. So then I did Torco, yeah.
For how long?
2-3 years.
2-3. How'd you like that?
It was fun.
Yeah.
But boyfriends always fucked me up.
Yeah. You dated Lutz, right?
I dated a lot of people. Looking for love or fun.
That's okay. Both are okay.
Well,
though.
yeah, but because when you're not, when you break up,
right?
And now we have to go. Oh yeah, I mean Lutz and I. Sorry, Lutz. Back it all. It was horrible.
Oh, you dated Dan too?
Yeah,
Well, you dated some really great improvisers.
Well, of course. I was like, you're amazing. Let's date. Maybe you're good. We'll brush off on it. But yeah, it definitely wasn't. So that was hard.
Yeah.
Because now you're on stage what was hard for me, and I was young. I was still in my 20s, so I just did not know how to separate, life from being on stage. I remember one time, I was on stage and Back It All and I had just broken up, and and I was doing the Pictionary, the scene Pictionary,
okay.
And I was literally like this: whose turn is it next? Oh, that's really funny. I think maybe we should do another one, you guys. I was so I should have been fired. If they didn't have a little bit of they felt sorry for me. I should have been fired. I just was horrible.
Did you guys do
Sudeikis was look. He was in the scene and he's looking at me like, what the fuck, G? And I'm I'm mentally, I'm just like, Suds, I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't give a fuck about this. I don't give a fuck. My heart's broken,
Oh, did you ever have an improv scene with Dan where you're you're lashing out at him or something?
Well, that was more with me and Lutz. Because Lutz and I were in the improv.
Right.
But Back It All Night, we were, so Second City is more scene work.
Yeah,
so you had you couldn't really.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lutz and I would always our scenes would turn into husband and wife, divorcing. My husband,
Were you able to figure out a way to be friends again with them and stuff like that?
Oh God, yeah. I still with it's so funny with the improv community, and I'm doing my own life, and I'm and I got to admit I'm self-centered, but if anyone were ever to call me, if Lutz were to call me tomorrow and be like, "Gee, I need you to fly here for whatever reason," I would be on that plane in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If Back It All, if anyone, if Grachi, if Kay Cannon, if Molly Erdman, if anybody was to just be like, "Gee,
you're needed,"
I would be there in a freaking heartbeat. And if there was parties and stuff, you just pick up right where you leave off, because that's the improv community. There's just.
What if they said, "Gee, we need you here to do an improv show"?
Then I'd stop and I'd say, "How much time do I have?"
We need you to make everyone look good.
Oh, God. Well, you know what? If I went in with that attitude, I'd probably succeed.
Yeah.
But if I was like, oh, God. I remember doing the 50th anniversary.
Second City?
No, 25th. Were you there at the 25th anniversary?
No, I heard about it. And I have the DVD.
Oh, God. First of all, that was just a disaster.
Yeah.
But I found it really hard when there was situations like that where Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, my goddesses were there.
Yeah.
I just would revert to terrible improv, and I'd be thinking about me. So I'd be so consumed with, I want them to see how good I am, that I'd be a terrible improviser.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Do you find that?
Yeah, I do. I do that sure.
To me that really and I always saw that, with Back It All and T.J. Jagodowski, where it's it didn't matter who was in the audience, it didn't matter who they were playing with. It's they could retain that integrity is really what I want to call it. Or just hold the space of great improv.
I think guys like McKay, who doesn't improvise often, but when he does, he just destroys.
What the fuck,
It's fuck you, dude.
It's fuck you. And, and I think, too, that was, a part of my realization is, there's levels. And, there's, the top tier. And I knew I wasn't in there. I knew I was really good, but I knew I wasn't at that level.
Really? I always
Yes.
thought you were.
Well, thank
I
you.
always put you up there.
Well, thank you. But I never did. I was like, oh, God, because I would just crumble if, like, Tina Fey was watching or on stage. Or...
I had a audition a few months ago.
Oh, God.
Right around the end of I.O. West was team auditions for Second City.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, I haven't done this in a while. I'll sign up. And I went, and they put me with a group of people I don't know.
Oh,
a lot of them are still in classes.
Oh, God.
And they're trying to do warm-ups.
Zip, zap, zap.
I hate doing warm-ups when they're bad. When they're like even because then it just is like, oh no, that's gonna translate into the.
Was it like pass the ball? And it's like
something something along those lines. It wasn't even that good. That you did better than whatever we did. But and then I had to audition for Craig Kikowski and Josh Fong.
Oh God! But wait a minute. Those are your buddies.
I know, and then I completely freak out, and even though I've improvised with Funk and Craig many times, and
you're on like the same level.
Well, that's generous. That's more than generous.
Yeah, but in your mind, you're like no, because you saw them.
Yeah,
they were
heroes.
Yeah.
They're my hero. I'm not on the level of my heroes. You know.
Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I did a terrible audition and never heard anything. And then I went back to Deborah and I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm doing those auditions anymore. Because whenever I do an improv audition, I've done maybe a dozen or so. And only like 2 or 3 times it's ever paid off. And then you just feel terrible.
But that is, yeah. And it's like, how do you get over that?
Yeah. And I'm like, I know I'm a decent improviser and certainly better than what I just did. I wish they would just know that and just put me on a team anyway or something.
I know. But let me ask you this, though. When you were there, if you can remember, so there you are. And, like, when you get on stage, like, are you playing to improvise and to support, or are you playing so that you get hired?
I guess I was trying to do everything, you know, and...
It doesn't, like, you really...
I'm just trying to be like, what is this guy talking about? You know?
Why are we... Yeah. I wonder what, like, T.J. Jagodowski would say about that, about, like, you know, when the stakes are high.
Yeah.
How do you retain the integrity of what you know you can do?
Yeah. Well, he's interesting because he was in Second City and then he stopped.
Yeah.
Because of his vertigo. You know, he had, like, vertigo and he would get dizzy on stage. And
oh, yeah, that'll knock you out, dude.
Pass out. And, like, that's crazy because, you know, he's great. And he probably knows he's great, too, I'm sure.
And then you got that little...
That thing. That you, for some reason, just you can't help. And it's so weird. Improv.
Oh, improv.
Improv. So when you started being obnoxious at 10 or 11, did your family notice?
You know who
change?
I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of Pardo when he, you know, like
Jason Pardo.
Yeah, sorry, Jason Pardo, and you know, we created that sketch show, and it was
which one?
I forgot, but it was like, you know, like Let's Be Loud or something like that.
In Chicago or
no, in I.O. West. Yeah.
Did I see it?
I don't know.
I would have if I was there. I probably would have.
Probably, yeah. But yes, obnoxious.
Why are you thinking about that?
Because, like, I love to be loud, like being obnoxious, and then I just thought of like, and he would just laugh at me because he's like, "Yep, you love to be loud, G." I'm like, I do.
So what happened when you were a kid and you started changing? Did your family take notice?
No.
No? Were you
probably not?
Were you loud at school? So I had no
rules. So just as FYI, like, I had 0 rules in the house. Like, I basically did whatever the hell I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm very kind of masculine. I have a very kind of like male energy.
Okay. All right.
In terms of, like, I can do whatever I want. I can do it.
Right. And your sister, you think she's more feminine?
It's completely.
Stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah. A little bit more like this. But yeah, so I think what happened was as I followed my father, so I studied my father, and he would use a lot of self-deprecating humor.
Okay.
And so I was like, I can do that. I can make fun of myself. And so that was how I got people to laugh at me.
Okay.
And it's that theory of like, you're not going to make fun of me before I make fun of me.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to make fun of me, I'm going to be the first one to make fun of me.
Did you get made fun of before that? Because
Yeah,
you
just
were
my
new and your
yes.
accent and
Yes.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's annoying. Kids are horrible.
Believe you me, I have a 7-year-old, and I'm just learning. Like, they are just assholes. I mean, true, like, they're just assholes.
Is your son one of the assholes, or is he being?
He's
picked on?
both, but he's an asshole. I mean, yeah, he's a total asshole. But he's got this really kind. But so that's my job as a mom. I'm like, Karma's a bitch. He's like me,
Yeah.
but male. So like aggressive and like handsy and wants to fight all the time. It's like, oh shit, that's me. But yeah, so like that's my job, is to like teach him how to not be such an asshole. But I think it's so hard.
Make others look good.
And make others, yes.
You know.
That is literally what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and he's not quite taking to it. What if he
Does sometimes.
Can you put him in classes, like improv classes?
Well, that's what I'm like thinking about starting, because I truly do think that like, so I'm going to try and connect the dots now, right? So here I am working with adults in corporate America. Check it.
Good.
I'm working with adults in corporate America that like have conflicts, depression, don't know how to communicate, blah blah blah. They avoid problems, they ignore certain personalities, and I'm seeing that with my son and kids. Like, I'm seeing it happen already. Parents will say to their kids, "Oh, just ignore him.
Right.
Don't play with him anymore."
Right.
So I'm seeing like, oh, like that same thing is now being translated. So I'm like, yeah.
You should see this great documentary that this woman I know did called Reject. And it's about rejection and how that affects children.
Oh.
And how that translates into adulthood.
Yeah.
And how that sticks with you through adulthood. And it's really fascinating because you're like, oh, of course. Because, I was picked on as a kid and felt rejected and all that stuff. But when you see it, like the documentary crew catches kids being rejected, and then a teacher who's familiar with the concept of rejection tries to help, and then how she fixes it, in the moment. Really, it's really interesting.
I love that stuff.
Yeah,
I think there's still like such a big disconnect for humanity and education and.
Oh yeah.
I think that the philosophies of improv should be embedded everywhere in the world, because it's so profound.
So how are you gonna?
So I think I'm going to start to teach improv.
Yeah.
Because I know that like in middle school the boys are just so rude and nasty and mean to each other, and I'm like, I don't want that. Like, and I feel like mothers have this like if you don't have emotional intelligence or like if you don't know a different way, then you're just going to keep on doing the same old thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think mothers are just like, oh, they'll all sort it out. It's par for the course.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I hear that, and I'm like, well, that's just the same old shit.
It is.
It's giving up, and it's like we're just perpetuating. Oh, and here's another thing, and for your readers, you know how Tina Fey wrote Mean Girls?
Yeah.
There needs to be a sequel or a Mean Boy. I'm serious, because I think that was such a great movie in terms of getting the conversation started. Around what are we doing, and how can we treat each other in a better way?
Yeah.
And so we've missed the boys, because I'm telling you, like, parents are still saying boys will be boys.
Yeah.
And I'm like that's just lame.
And it also takes all responsibility off the parent of going, well, it's not my fault because boys will be boys.
Yeah.
So I didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing I could do to help it.
Yep.
That's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Bullshit.
And then other parents are like, let them figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you serious? You want my asshole son to figure it out? Who's 7? Who's all about me.
Yeah. No, you're a parent. That's
that's our job, is to like step in and be like, hey guys, here's a better way of thinking. Have you thought about this? Why don't you try this?
I think parents take a passive way to parent.
To be a teacher is like nuts, dude.
Yeah.
They literally all deserve like $200,000 paychecks every year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, my mom was a teacher for 30-something years.
What grade?
Mostly second,
Oh,
but
good
all in
God.
elementary school, but mostly second. I remember.
She's on the cusp of like intelligence and maturity.
Yeah.
She was on the cusp.
Yeah. So,
But
you should have all great kids, and then maybe you might have one like obnoxious kid or something like that. But probably most of them were cute because they're still kind of cute at that age usually.
Yeah.
That's probably about 7, right? Second grade. What
Yeah,
grade
yeah.
is-
He's a second grader.
He's a second grader.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's what I will do. I think I will try to start improv
That's interesting.
and offer it as a way for, not
At his
just
school or something?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of throw it out there to the Park District, and because I do know what I'm doing. It's a gift that I did have. I was taught and had the honor and privilege of working with. I mean, the list, right, of like,
Right, and the people you talk
I
about.
can't fathom mile. I mean, just it goes on and on.
Yeah. Did you work with Dell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Dell.
I was the only one that I was like, that was just crap for
Really?
me.
Yeah, why?
I think he wanted to have sex with me, and like, I think I maybe. Oh God, is that horrible? I was
No,
in
he's
level
dead.
1. He
Yeah.
brought me up to like a level 4 because he's like, that girl's got talent, which I didn't. I went in there I had one class, and he's like, no, she doesn't, and then like I got kicked out again.
Wait, he brought you from level 1
From level 1
jumped
improv
you?
and jumped me to a level 4 class.
And then once you were in 4, he kicked you out?
Yeah, he's like, okay, no.
Because you would think because he was trying to sleep with you or something?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know because maybe he wasn't because he did kick me out. So you're right. Yeah, he didn't. He never advanced. on me.
Do you know that? Did he do that stuff? Did he
I
super
don't know.
students?
See, look at me, how terrible I am. I'm like soiling this dead man's. No, I only heard stories. He never hit on me.
Okay.
Never once.
Okay.
Look
All
at me,
right.
I'm horrible. But he mumbled a lot. So for
Yeah.
me, I didn't learn anything from him.
Yeah.
I didn't learn anything from a lot of people. The people that I learned the most from was my coach, which was Liz Allen.
Yeah.
Teachers. Some teachers were, like Susan Messing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a goddess that was.
Yeah.
And she was. And how like she was doing what I wanted to do, which was to not give a fuck,
Yeah.
to own her sexuality, to own womanhood, to be a powerful, creative woman
Yeah.
that was respected. She did it, and she was doing it, and I was like, whoa. And then on top of that, she allowed you to, she created that space where you could be free and, be an asshole and, look like a dickhead and, no judgments. And, oh, my God, she was amazing.
She still is.
And she still is.
Did you ever do Messing with a Friend? You must have.
I did
Yeah.
one time ago, yes.
How'd you do?
I think that was great. Yeah, because I think I had just come back from Egypt, and so
Oh, wow.
I was rusty,
Yeah.
but she made me look good.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I said that to her. I'm like, Messing, you're just gonna make me look good tonight, right? And she's like, I got you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, great. And she did.
I got to do one with her, but it was the same thing of oh, she's a hero of my, and I got nervous. I don't think I did very good, but she was great, of course.
Did you tell her that? Were you like Messing?
I was nervous.
Yes.
Yeah. And she was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Oh, because you're Messing."
And that didn't
she's like-
dissipate
And
it?
then she's like, "Just stop it.
Oh, okay.
Just stop it, AJ."
Yeah. It's hard to play with your...
Yeah. It's hard. I got to play with TJ a bunch.
How was that?
Greats. I love it.
I would actually be... No, but he would do the same thing. He'd make you look good. wouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean the guys
they
like
make
TJ and Craig, they're my favorites, and I'm okay with doing stuff with them because I know they'll take good care of me and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
For some reason, especially Craig, probably.
Yeah.
Especially Craig, because
I would get nervous with Craig just because he's so smart.
Yeah.
And I would be like, oh my God.
Well, I know I'll be the
I'll
low
be like,
status guy.
Yeah, yeah. It's just
I
like,
know my
oh my
role.
God, what am I going to say? And I never got a chance to play with Craig, only on
Really?
Armando's and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Never like in a
Team or
a
anything.
team like that. Yeah.
No, I did shooting the shit. Remember my
Yeah,
shooting
yeah,
the shit?
yeah, yeah.
I think you played in the shooting the shit once.
I think so.
shooting the shit. So it's just great because it's just me, Craig, and maybe one other person.
Yeah, I'd be a little intimidated because he's so smart. Smart people get me.
Yeah,
like
me too.
There's a couple of them.
Yeah, I do. Is it because I don't feel like I was well educated growing up, so that's like an insecurity of mine. You too?
Yeah, because I didn't read.
You didn't read?
No,
like,
I was a sporty.
You knew how to read.
I think I still do a little bit.
Right.
Level 1, maybe 2.
But
Comic books.
Comic books.
I got them.
Me too. But you were sporty. You were more athletic.
Yeah, well, I'm just a people person, so I was just so interested in people, being with people. You weren't even that. Okay.
I was kind of a loner. And, I was just like real shy. Like I said, I was a real shy kid.
But you didn't get into books though?
I did. I guess I did as a kid a little bit, and then I got more into TV though. Way more.
Oh, yeah. You see,
way more
just
into
like,
TV and movies.
Yeah.
Way more. But I never had that. As a kid, that idea of like, well, I'm going to be obnoxious now. Watch this. I didn't have that as a kid. I had that as an adult. More like, although I guess I might have had it a little in high school, because it was like senior year, and I was like, fuck. I was so depressed for so many years in high school.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is awful. I'm just gonna try to make myself laugh and make myself feel good at others' expenses, unfortunately. But
you took a different route. That's okay. Laughter, it happened.
But I was
yeah.
But I started noticing like people laughing when I did that.
Okay.
And I was like, oh.
So were you kind of an asshole? And would I have been like, fucking that EJ is an asshole?
No, because I think you probably would have been like, oh, look, you're, because I was getting people saying, hey, you're funny.
Okay. So you were doing those like nice zinger one-liners and.
Well, I was a one-liner guy.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a one-liner. I'm still like that in shows too, but.
So that's a skill. That's a great skill.
But I didn't think I was funny. I thought I had like a good sense of humor. And then I started taking improv classes. It'll be 20 years ago now. I started taking improv classes. And my teacher, who was pretty strict and no nonsense. She was like a nun. She would have been like a nun. If you put a habit on her, you would have been like, oh, she's a nun. But she made people cry. In class, but she loved me.
Oh,
but she loved me.
So you were lucky.
I was lucky because I made an audience. This big audience of classmates laugh regularly, and people were very encouraging for me. Like, hey, get up there. I was like, oh, am I good at this?
What the hell was she doing in charge of that? Like, that's like.
She was a great teacher, though.
Okay.
Because I look at what she taught me, because I took her class over and over again. I took it like 4 times, and I didn't know what long form was or any of that stuff. But we were doing long form, and I didn't even realize it. And once I started going to IO, I was like, oh, I've been taught a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
We were doing mono scenes.
I'm going to segue here, but because I just want to comment on that like, isn't it so, because you said TJ was back taking level 1 with Mick, and you just took that same course 4 times.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how much you will learn doing something multiple times that, you hear things that you might not have heard that first time.
For sure.
You can see, you feel things differently. You're at a different place to learn something new. I love that.
Yeah, and I'm still taking classes. I just finished a class with Miles.
I love that, and it's because I went to this one like self-help workshop for 10 years, and it was amazing to me how the guy would say the exact same thing, exact same joke, exact same information, but every time I went, I would hear something different. Yeah, it just blows my mind.
It's like watching Star Wars over and over again. It's like, hey, just pick that up.
I didn't notice it.
Detail. It's just the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So you were doing improv, did you? And you were like, but you're also a writer, right? You get that from your mom, probably.
What I've learned is it's hard for me to do stuff by myself. I truly do, and I've learned so much. Now I'm going to be 45 in a couple days. Like,
oh, happy birthday!
Thank you. I was a fucking shit back then with my ego and my wanting to be the star of sketch shows. and my collaboration skills were kind of crap. I'm gonna, I have to admit it. I always wanted to be the star, even though I know the rules and the integrity of improv. There was that secret wanting to be the star that I couldn't control. I couldn't bay it.
Yeah.
Now that I'm out of it and I'm older, I am so much better collaborator. I am so much more interested in the success of the whole thing. And so going back to writing, if I could find like some writing partners, that would be my dream, because doing it by myself to me is just kind of no fun. I love working with other people, and I can do it better now that I'm older.
I remember seeing a show that you, Grachi, and Cannon did.
Oh my God.
The three of you.
That was amazing.
Remember, what was the name of that show? Do you
Camp
remember?
Hot.
Camp Hot. Camp Hot.
Three hot ladies.
I think you did it at the Second City space.
Yeah, but
Melrose?
yeah, we did it at a bunch of places.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. Like, I think I was okay there, but I could have done that better. I could have collaborated better, and
Yeah, because do you ever think like, hey, Grouch, let's write a pilot together or something like that?
Well, look at those. I mean, my God, look at them. They're like writing it, and like, like if it was a team, then I could do it.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're Cannon's doing her thing. isn't she doing something too? So I think everyone's got their own path, and but yeah, I mean, if I had maybe that idea of doing a boy movie.
But raising
that
a
would
boy?
be something. Well, no, the Mean Boys.
Oh, Mean Boys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would be like a huge movie to write.
Yeah, write it.
I should.
I'm your life coach.
Oh my God. Isn't that funny? Because that's what I do. Like, I inspire people.
Yeah.
And then who's doing me? Who's doing me?
Yeah, you gotta take care of yourself too, right?
It's hard.
Is it
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
taking care of yourself when you're kind of helping out others?
No, I mean, I'll tell you this. How old are you?
42.
I'm 45. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm the calmest I've ever been. I'm the wisest I've ever been. And I really like who I am.
That's great.
Like, I wake up happy. I go to bed happy. I don't worry about stuff anymore. And again, and I've battled depression for years and years. I don't know if it was because I had the honor of teaching emotional intelligence and really learning awareness of my emotions, how to manage my emotion, like all those tools and techniques that probably is one of the reasons why I'm so happy now. Yeah. Is because I had to teach that. So I had to, if I was going to teach it, I had to, practice on myself. Right. So, but yeah.
Have you done therapy? Have you ever done? You said you did therapy.
I think yeah, once or twice, but it was only maybe 3 or 4 times that I would go.
It didn't really click.
No, I think teaching stuff is when you really get a chance to learn it, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because you have to be authentic. You can't just, you can't teach how to find the game in a scene if you don't know how to find the game in a scene. Right. You know what I mean?
You were my coach once. Do you remember that?
How was I?
Good, I think.
Better player or better coach?
I don't know. That's hard. I mean, I'd probably say player, but if I had to just...
Come on, guys, get up there. Yeah, that was in my depressed phase. So yeah, maybe really? I didn't, because that was on my I'm burning out phase.
I think you came in after Kay Cannon.
Yeah, I was probably burned out.
I think Kay got 30 Rock, and then maybe you came in after her, something like that. But I remember you as a great coach, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Get up there. I've had people in the past be like, do you remember when you said this, Sarah? And it was something so stupid, just like, do it better. It's like, oh, fuck.
Well, how about this?
Skills.
How about this? Okay, so I auditioned in front of, these were the worst, Herald Team auditions.
Oh, God.
And I auditioned in front of you.
Tell me I was kind.
I think you farted.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure.
Did I own it?
Farted.
I hope I owned it.
I think so. I think it was you and James were the only two in the room.
Oh, James.
Yeah. But I had, those were multiple. I don't think I got anything that audition. That was I didn't get a Herald Team until my 4th audition.
It's hard to get rid of the jitters.
But by that 4th time, I was like, with that 6th time, I was like, fuck it. I don't care. I didn't even like brush my hair or anything. It was just like, oh, I just rolled out of bed. Like, I don't even want to go to this thing. I was so mad and resentful that I was even going. And then I got on the team.
Yeah.
And I did very well. Even like during the audition, I'm like, wow, this feels good.
I'm nailing it.
So annoying.
No, I know, because I remember being at I.O., right? And like doing those shows and like, you know, whatever, someone that I deemed was important was watching, and I'd have a shit show. And all of my magical shows was when I said to myself, or was like, oh, I don't give a fuck, or God, I wish I was in bed, or God, I wish I was doing something different. And you go up there. It's those times when you didn't give a fuck.
My favorite was you come out during a show, and you come out for the sideline, and you're like walking a little funny, and then you stop and you go, I'm a penguin. Or I was dressed as a penguin, something like that, and it was just so funny.
Tell me my teammates were like, good one, Sarah, or were they just like, oh, fucking G?
I don't remember. It might have been Street Hawk or something like that.
Street Hawk, oh my God.
Ah, so funny.
Oh, Lord.
So funny.
Do you remember your stuff? Because I remember dick. I remember nothing.
Once in a while, I'll because I used to coach, and then something would pop up in my head where I'd be like, oh, I did something similar like this, and I can, you know, say, oh, I did that on stage, and I did this or whatever. Oh. Once in a while, but I don't necessarily just remember it. I mean,
Lutz would take notes. Did you talk about that?
No.
He had binders. Yeah, he was amazing. I mean, this is, of course, when he was in his 20s.
Right.
I wonder if he still has them. But he would, like, take notes and stuff. He was so great, like, but it's so smart, right? Like, analyze, like, look, he, you know, it was like the after-action review of, like, what he did on stage.
How do you like seeing all these guys, like, succeeding and, you know,
it's great.
And Veep and all that stuff?
I love it. I love it.
It's pretty cool.
It's amazing. It's so funny, like, right now, the TV shows that I like to watch, though, are, like, action, like Quantico and, like...
Okay.
Like, I don't watch SNL anymore.
Oh.
I know.
It's okay. Did you ever have an opportunity to audition for SNL?
Yeah, I did. But no, it wasn't really for them, though. But again, like, I was trying to help Lutz get on, because Lutz was a writer, and so he was auditioning for one of the producers to be actually on it.
Right.
Which I never understood why they didn't just eat him up.
Yeah.
Because he would have just...
talked about that.
You know, like...
He didn't mention that you were doing it.
Yeah, so he called me in, and I flew out there to do our 2-person show.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So nobody called you or anything and were like, hey, you're interested in auditioning?
No.
Was that ever a dream? That's like kind of the dream for most of...
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was with Suds in Vegas when when Norm came, and I forget George Wendt brought his agent with him, and then it was like, bye-bye Suds. He was gone and off. But, you know, and that was another thing of, like, you know, there's like... I think there's a time when you're like, okay, you know, is this working for me? Like... Because, you know, I think I'm good, but maybe I'm not good, because there's an agent who's coming here to see Suds. But if I was like, he'd be like, hey, that blonde chick, let's get her in there. You know, but it never happened. And then I looked at other people's careers, and I was like, dude, they just got here, and they're just on a freaking pilot. Like, and it's kind of like, well, what? That
was like McBrayer. He just showed up in LA and was like, boom, 30
Rock. Oh
Rock.
My God, I love that man.
But that's Tina Fey. They were buds.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, being lucky and knowing someone and having that relationship. But I think for me, it was just like, I felt like it was a struggle, you know?
Yeah.
And again, like, you know, there's like, you know, Karen there's so many people that like have struggled, but they've kept doing it, right? And I'm like, I admire them so much. And like, do I wish that I still had that? Because their passion is still burning brightly for it, which is, to me, is like, that's just amazing. And like, you know, when my friends succeed, I applaud them, and I think that that's amazing, because I know how hard it is to keep that flame burning, right? Like,
through all the bad times,
through all those, like, rejections and skip overs and.
Yeah.
But I think that's for me. My skin just got too thin.
So you, in 2008, I guess you just decided I'm going to move to Egypt.
So I was really powerful. Like this is. There's a couple instances in my life where I'm like, holy crap! Like, I can really make shit happen.
Uh-huh.
And then of course I'm like, well, why didn't I make shit happen with that? But anyway, but I was like, I was determined. So I looked in the mirror. I was dating Conowall.
Oh, yeah,
Conowall.
right. Brian, he's a dad now.
I know. I love that guy. Although I was anyway, but I was so I was dating him. I was doing the job, doing the work at improv, and I said I had this. I looked in the mirror and I was like, I cannot be doing this in 5 years. Like, I just don't want this life anymore. And so I had this like really strong mantra, and the mantra was, I want a new life, I want a new career, and I want an adventure.
Okay.
And like I breathed that mantra. Like in the morning, I would wake up and I'd think that like I want a new life, a new career, and an adventure. And I just like breathed it. I lived it. I ate it. And I just knew that I was going to get those things. I knew I was going to get a new life. I knew that I was going to get a new career, and I knew I was going to get an adventure. Like I just like knew it without a shadow of a doubt. And then 4 months later, my dad called and was like, do you want to go to Egypt and be a consultant?
And you said?
Yes.
And?
New life, new career, and adventure.
And what happened? So, and you met your husband, and you want to talk about the story of meeting your husband?
Yeah. Did I tell you it?
Yeah.
About how he was the only guy not looking at me?
Well, and you met him, like, didn't he drive the cab or something? Like, didn't he?
Yeah, so it's like 1 a.m. Cairo time, and like I'm coming out into the airport, into the arrival, and there's just this sea of black-haired, black eyes, brown skin. I'm just cookie cutter. I mean, just no difference. Just everyone looked the same. Just this Arab-looking person.
Right.
And they're all just like looking at me. I was like svelte and blonde, blue-eyed. Like I had this white coat on. I mean, it just was ridiculous.
Were they like looking at you? Like,
oh my God! Yeah, they're like, who is this guy? I mean, like I looked so foreign and different and unique, and blue eyes and American. I mean, like just so different. I mean, I could see the eyes just being like,
Is that scary? That sounds scary.
Well, me. No, I was just kind of like, I was eating it up. I was like, hello, I'm here, everybody. Feast. No, I was eating it up.
Feast your eyes.
Yeah, I was like, yes. I don't fear.
Yeah.
So I was just like, yes. And of course, I'm like, oh my God, all these eyes are on me. I was a little bit scared of like, okay, who's my contact? Because I'm like, Jesus, where's my name? And then I found my name, and the guy was not this. The whole airport was looking at me, except for this one man, who was kind of like James Dean in it by the wall with the foot up, just like nonchalantly, just like holding up the sign but not looking at me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, how dare this person? How dare he not bow down to this
to the queen,
blonde, blue-eyed, and so that was it. So I was basically like,
that's it.
How dare he not look at me?
He rejected you.
He did,
and you were like
on purpose. And so of course that's what I found out is he was like, I am not gonna. Because he saw, because he was in the back, so he was like seeing everybody, like, so he's like, I'm gonna play it cool,
and it worked.
It's like, you bastard,
that fucker.
That fucker.
So you started dating right away?
No, it was so his job in Vodafone is to collect foreigners because he speaks English. So he's like the manager of the transportation department and the visitors guidance. So he picks up Germans, English, Swedish, Americans. Because he speaks English, he picks up these VIP clients, takes them to the villa, just shows them everything, tells them what's going to happen, and lays it all out. And then the next day, or the next week, you'd get somebody, just a driver who didn't speak English, who would just take you back and forth to the work.
Okay.
Make sense?
Sure.
But what ended up happening was that he would be the one to pick me up. He would supposed to have given it to somebody else, but he would always be showing up at my door. And then he'd be like, do you want to go, can I take you to the pyramids and let me, so he became my personal tour guide. But it shouldn't have.
Lover.
And then lover. Yeah, so and he was so different than anybody I had ever met in my whole life.
In
like,
what ways?
So he was this I mean, like, I know that there's people that are religious here in this country, but in America we don't really wear it on our sleeves because, you know, we're a melting pot. That's just kind of something that, you know, there's a couple things you don't talk about, religion and politics, right? Because you don't want to get into a fight or whatever. Right. But over there, he's like, you know, alhamdulillah and inshallah. I mean, everything out of his mouth was God.
Okay.
And I was like, geez, like you are unwavering. Your belief, your faith was very attractive to me. Like it made him so his faith. Mm-hmm. It was like, you know, it was just like unwavering. It gave him support and, like, you know, it just made him this man.
Are you religious?
No.
Yeah.
So that was so I was just like, wow, this belief, like, it was just so foreign to me. I was like, wow, you really believe in this without a shadow of a doubt. It was very attractive, right?
Okay.
And then the other thing was, like, I mean, he'd be yelling at me, and I was like, who the fuck? How
dare you? Yelling at you? Get my dinner.
No. I'm just like, so like this one time we went shopping, and like. And it's just such a different culture there, right? So I'm being myself, like smiling at kids and people, and he'd be like, hey! Like, so he'd be getting cheese for me. Yeah. And he'd be like, hey! And I'd be like, how dare you shout at me like a dog? And I said to him, like, that's how he was so powerful. He was so, like, he was kind of like my equal. Okay. In terms of energy and power.
But when he would do stuff like that, would you... like, say, hey, you can't do that.
Yeah, God, yeah. And then he'd be like, what do you mean? So
that's confusing if you're used to doing that.
Yes. I'd be like, well, where I'm from, that's how you talk to a dog. Yeah. Now...
and even nicer sometimes.
Yeah. And so what was great is that he was trainable. So, like, he was willing, right? Like, because if he had, like, backed, you know, if he had been stubborn, you know, if he was like, no, you know, then it wouldn't have happened. Sure. But I was like, do you understand now why that would not be a great thing to talk to me like that? And he'd be like, yes, I see your point.
So he's open-minded.
He was. Okay. And you know,
looking for growth.
Yes, and just and that's the thing is, like, if you don't know that there's a different way to communicate, like.
Now, did you compromise? Like, sometimes you're like, okay, you can still yell at me sometimes.
No.
No, okay.
No.
Okay, very good.
No, and let me tell you, like, we had battles. I mean, we had, like, battles of just, like, what the, you know, but now, like, you know, 10 years later, 11 years? 10 years, like, we've both changed each other. Like, we've both grown, and we've both, like, you know, I mean, he's back in Egypt right now, and he's, like, texting me, and he's like, oh, God, please, when I want to come home. Because they talk like how we used to talk.
Yeah,
a lot of
scary.
drama.
I get that.
Yeah, and, like, you know, what we've done together is, like, learn how to communicate in a calm manner, and like, when we're upset, like, how do we walk through that upsetness to... you know, to have win-win outcomes. And
how long were you in Egypt for?
3 years.
And then, were you guys married by then?
Yes.
Okay. Who proposed? How'd that happen?
Well, so first of all, he's a Muslim, so you're not supposed to have sex until you're married.
That didn't happen.
Hello. But he always says, but I knew I was going to marry you. Okay. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, so was he a virgin?
No, so he had an ex, yes. Okay. He had an ex-wife, yes.
So that's interesting. So you're okay. And no kids with the other.
No kids, yeah.
So how did he propose, or did you propose, or how'd that go?
I think.
Hey, you, marry me.
You, blonde woman. You are not mine. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is, like, I still laugh. I mean, like, oh my God, we used to laugh, like, at how he said stuff and his thoughts. And, I mean, he was just so different. And I think that, you know, I get bored. I mean, I'm this wild child. Like, I get bored. Like, he still keeps me on my toes. He still is, like, interesting to me. Like, I still find him, like, he's still so, like, you know, I felt like I could dominate. I hate to say this, but I felt like I could dominate American men too easily. I was just so, like, I was too aggressive. Yeah. I'm too aggressive.
We're too nice.
and you're too nice. I know, right?
Yeah.
So I think I needed this like Arab man to be like, and I've been like, oh, I can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
Like I've done a lot of growing up. I'm like, oh my God, like I was really mean to people and men and like, and crazy. And I'm like, he's not going to tolerate shit from me. He doesn't. And I'm like, shit. You don't tolerate shit from me?
You hot stud.
You motherfucking take your pants off and get it. No. Yeah, so for me, it worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so he proposed?
And it still works. Oh, so he like got me this necklace, and so it was in like a ring box, and he's like, I got something for you, and I was like, oh my God, this is it, where he's gonna propose, and it was like this necklace, and I was like, motherfucker, Ehab. Do you know what I thought that was? So we had that, and he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, and then he got me a ring the next day. So it was very nothingness. There was no.
Okay.
And I'm not like
That's
that.
fine with you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we got married in a court.
Yeah.
I never, as a girl,
Egypt?
In Egypt, yeah, with a all the time, and
Wow.
I never dreamed about big weddings.
What was your experience in Egypt? Obviously, you found love, but what was like the culture and stuff? Did it take some getting used to, or
They're the sweetest, kindest people, most hospitable, more than us.
Really?
They're so much kinder.
Even with all the yelling and stuff?
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. No, because they're dramatic. They're hot-blooded.
Yeah.
So they can go this way, but they can go this way as well. Like they're so kind. I mean, they really take their faith seriously. So, and 80% of the country is Muslim, and they are, you are hospitable, you're kind, and you always, I mean, they do Ramadan, like they fast to show what it feels like to be poor. They do it for a month, like they fast in the daytime so that they remind themselves of what it feels like to be homeless. And I mean, like they're Egyptians are amazing culture. They're funny. Out of all the Arab world, Egyptians are known as the most comical, and my husband sure is. Like he's always cracking jokes.
Okay. Cool.
I'll ask him something, and he'll be like, "No." Okay, yes. I mean, he's so funny. They're constantly joking.
And he's never seen you improvise, I guess.
Good God, no.
And perform. He's never seen you perform. Wow,
No.
That's too bad. He's missing out.
I mean, he,
Because you basically haven't accepted your mom's library in like a decade,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it comes back. Like that's it was so weird. I mean, I was playing games like nobody's business. Like we were in this this one woman, she was pretending to be my sergeant. All right, sergeant, it's time to get up, and I just was like, got it, and I was like right in her face, nose to nose, immediately I was like back in there, and everyone's laughing, and I'm like, yes, sir, and she's like, step, so we played that whole game of I'm right on top of her with everything she says.
That's so funny.
It was great. And then she played with it.
That's so great. So do you go back to Egypt sometimes?
No.
No, you haven't been back since?
A little scared because of the Arab Spring and...
Well, and I mean, like, what do you think about, like, in the news when the people are anti-Muslim, all that stuff, the bans and all that stuff? Do you ever pay attention to that stuff? Your husband must.
Yeah, but it's so funny because this in this world of disinformation and what are facts and he gets a lot of different stories. Like I'll say to him, I'm like, God, in the news they're going to be beheading people for X, Y, and Z, and he's like, I don't know whether that's true or not. He's like, let me find out from different sources.
That's interesting. That's crazy. Does he get like harassed or anything here in America?
No, I think he's had a gun pulled on him a couple times.
Whoa.
And
Jeez.
yeah.
By who?
Just people that were gonna stick him up.
Oh wow, really? That's crazy. That's scary.
Yeah, he got a gun afterwards because of it.
Really?
It's just kind of like, oh God, but I know
that sucks.
But like I get it. Like he had a gun to his head, so
yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. But remember, it's so different though. Like, he's a Muslim man, so you can't tell what religion he is. Now, if I was wearing a hijab, maybe I would definitely get. It's so interesting. So, like, I'm so open-minded to Muslims and stuff, except for a niqab. And thank God Ehab thinks it's crazy too. We're both kind of like, why are you wearing a niqab in America? For what purpose?
Which is a...
So a hijab is just the hair, but a niqab is everything.
Except your eyes. Yeah.
And I was at the Great America the other day, and like there was a woman in a niqab, and I was just like, "What you doing, dude? Where are you?
Yeah. Well, I guess she gets. So
but they're from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a small village in Pakistan, but
maybe they're famous and they don't want to be recognized.
Yeah, maybe it's like Justin Bieber. That's right, Justin Bieber in a niqab.
When did you get preggers? That's the official.
Yeah, that is official. Preggers got preggers when he came here. I think a week after he got here.
Okay, and you guys were married already?
Yep.
Was there problems getting him into the country?
No, but now it's, obviously now it's crazy. So I'm so glad that we did it.
He's a citizen now, right?
Yeah. It's very, well, again, it's hard now. He's actually back in Egypt trying to get his daughter to get citizenship. And
he has a daughter?
Yeah.
I thought you said he didn't
3.
He has 3 daughters.
Yeah, from the previous marriage.
Okay. So he did have kids with previous marriages.
Yes. Which is sad, and because it's just like, we're here, they're there, but,
She has 3 daughters over there. Oh, wow. What ages?
17, 15, and 14.
Teenagers, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
but so he goes back for a month every year. And he tries to, and like 1 year he went back 2 times in a year.
And he's trying to get them over here? Do they want to come over?
We don't, we don't know, I mean, sometimes we have a goal where we're like, maybe we'll go retire there because everything's so much cheaper. And, but yeah, I mean, I at least want them to come over here for the summer. I don't know whether they would want to live here, but I don't know.
Check it out. Maybe they like it. Take some
but I definitely want them to come here for the summer.
Yeah. Do they speak English?
Yes. Broken, but yes. Yeah. Okay. It's sad. Yeah, their education system. So there really isn't a middle class there. It's poor and wealthy. That's it.
That's crazy. So you must be pretty fluent. No.
No.
You're broken.
Yeah.
You're broken.
Arabic.
Yeah.
So like, it used to be the Pharaoh days, right? Like, so there used to be Bedouins and they used to have that different religion, but then, the Muslims came over and then took over. Okay. So it's all Arabic.
Wow.
But they probably used to have their own Egyptian language, I'm sure.
Were you scared to bring him over to the States? Because it was just, you're taking him away from his home country.
Yeah, but I think I said to him, look, I can't live in Egypt. I love you, but if we get a divorce, I'm like, I was literally kind of like, that's okay, because this is up to you, because I can't live in this country.
Yeah.
So if you want this marriage to continue, then you have to come to America.
Take that.
What you gonna do with your power now?
Was he looking forward to coming to America?
I think like most immigrants all across the world, they have a very different picture of what America is and what
fantasy.
Yes. Yeah.
And then he gets here and it's 6 months of snow. He's like,
well, not only that, but just the biggest thing that I could say for immigrants that they just don't realize, whether it's Mexico or literally anywhere, they don't realize the amount of rules, laws, regulations, fees, taxes that happens in this country.
Yeah.
They just that's just a phenomenally different.
Yeah.
That you can't just give someone $50 and get something done.
Right.
Under the table.
Right.
I'm sure it's still, obviously it happens a lot here in our politics and stuff, but not for the average, us.
Yeah.
We need to follow the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. And then you got pregnant on purpose?
Right? I did, yeah. Okay. To be honest, I was kind of like, I was not done with life, But I was kind of like, life, I'm like done with life. There's nothing that I haven't done. Like, I've jumped out of a plane. I've gone scuba diving. I've pretty much visited every continent. I've had enough whoop-de-doos in life to last a lifetime.
Yeah.
I have gone everywhere. Backpack. I mean, like, I literally felt like I had done everything on this planet.
John Lutz.
Had sex with Lutzy. I was like, what? I was like, I literally was kind of like done with life.
Mm.
And that was when my body was like, baby.
Baby time.
Baby. And that, I never thought I would have a baby.
Yeah. That's why, I mean, by the time you're late 30s, maybe you're really like, oh, I guess that's it. Maybe it's time to get out.
Well, and that too. But I really think that I've had this really amazing, privileged life where I've got to experience a lot of stuff. Like there literally was like, because a lot of people don't travel.
Yeah.
Like some people like don't do. They
don't leave their state or their hometown.
Yes.
They just stay in their hometown forever.
Yeah.
Which is sad. Which is kind of sad.
Yeah. So, like, if I had that experience, I probably wouldn't have wanted a baby.
Yeah. Interesting.
But because I think I had done everything, I was like...
So were you nervous once you learned you were pregnant? Were you like, oh, my God?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. That's a lot of change in a short amount of time. You moved back from Egypt with now a husband.
Yeah.
You're about to have a baby. You're in someone's house.
Yeah, we were staying with my mom and dad who were going through bankruptcy and foreclosure.
Oh God.
And he thought that he was going to get this like swanky job, like making, $50,000-$60,000 a year, and he comes to realize that not like the most he's going to make is like 25 and he's got to start at the bottom, and he doesn't have any American recognized college degrees, and his certificates don't translate from his college that he had with accounting, so it was hard. That was like horrible for him. And it still is like. But the other thing that I tried to tell him was, I was like, you can go back to college, but in his mind he was too old.
How old is he?
He's 48?
48.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
But even at 40, when he got here, he didn't because in Egypt you don't
do that.
You don't do that.
Yeah.
But I was trying to tell him that in America, you can literally go to school at 70 and change your career at 80. I mean, we do everything here.
Yeah,
but
he's like, you guys are stupid.
Yeah. Well, and I think, too, is like he had his girls and he needed to just get some income going right away, so he didn't want to take that chance.
Has your son ever gone to Egypt?
No, but I think we're going to go next year.
Wow. Because he's never met his stepsisters.
No. We're just
half-sisters.
Half-sisters, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
And I want him to meet Ehab's mom before she goes.
Mm.
So I think we're going to go next year.
Okay. You think, is she sick?
And she's got diabetes and
She's old.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, hey, Sarah.
Oh my God.
We talked about a lot of stuff.
Holy.
Let's see. For an hour and a half.
Is that too long?
No, that's
so long.
great. That's about average.
That's average
for my podcast.
Holy. How is it to do what you do? To ask questions.
I like it. Like, we've known each other for 15 years, but I learned a lot about you just now.
Oh my God. Is it hard? Is it hard, like, when you ask a question and then, you associate something yourself? Is it hard not to, add your...
I do sometimes.
Yeah.
You're
great at that, by the way.
It's conversational.
You're really, really good at it.
Thank you. You're really, really good.
You're better.
Well, I love you.
I love you, too.
And thank you for coming out and seeing me.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
And having my name pop in your head.
Of course. You don't have anything to plug? Do you have? You on social media?
You're
on
not.
Facebook, but that's
horrible, and I have to stop because all it is Trump hating, and it's just I have to stop.
For me.
God, it's
so much Trump hating.
I know. I can't.
I can't. Help
I've stopped doing it. I know.
I can't help it. I'm so angry.
I'm so angry. Oh.
Is your household?
I mean, I have lost so many friendships because of it.
Really?
Like hardcore my Christian friends in the suburbs. I can't look at them, talk to them anymore.
Almost my whole family voted for him.
How do you deal with that?
Not well. Not well.
And do they still?
I don't even talk to them about it. I don't even. Yeah, I don't talk.
Because they probably still enjoy
I'm sure
them.
some of them still are on board with
blind.
It.
Yeah.
But that's a tricky one. That's tricky.
Yeah.
Oh, God bless America.
Making America great again.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You want to go
you.
get lunch?
Yes.
You hungry?
Always.
All right, let's do it.
Feast my stomach.
And scene. Thank you, Sarah. So great catching up with you. I appreciate your time and you coming to Chicago City to talk with me. And when I'm in Chicago, I will hit you up again. Hope you liked my talk with Sarah G. Go subscribe to my podcast on iTunes and iHeartRadio. You could go check out all my past podcasts and don't miss any future ones. I got a bunch of really cool ones coming up. And to give myself a plug one more time, the Twitter at EJ Scott and at EJ Podcast, Instagram EJScott1106, website EJScott.com, documentary Running Blind on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon, and curechm.org to learn more about choroideremia. Well, that's it, folks. Hope you had a good time, and we will see you next time.